We'll start soon, y'all. There's theoretically 10 more people who are coming who can definitely fit. There's lots of room up front. There's lots of room peppered through. But just a mini suggestion, if you see a couple of inches of space next to you on the right or left, you might scooch just a drop closer so a mat can slide in. That would be very helpful so people can make it in the snow. And then all the props. We'll use everything today. So blocks, blanket, strap, therapy balls. I don't often have an agenda with the bolster, but if you're craving to use one, you can definitely grab one. And we'll start soon. I know, you should. When did we do that? That was in May? Or July? May.
Yeah, because we didn't have class.
Yeah. Hi. Good to see you. Yay, good. Were there a bunch of people downstairs when you were coming up? I know there's classes going on downstairs too, so it might be a mix.
But I think there were like 3 people.
Okay. Great. No, I don't. No, go anywhere you like. Yeah. Okay. Hi, y'all. Come on in. There's some space in the middle, peppered. There's also lots of room up here. But take your time. We can grab you some props, so you can grab them. Blocks, blanket, strap, therapy balls, all the good stuff. Hello, welcome. We made it through the ice? Maybe? Questionably? No. Okay. Well, thank you for coming. Happy New Year for those that I haven't seen since New Year to last year. Some of you know this already, but the very sweet thing that happens when you're new to class or the studio, I have the little roster just to make sure that everyone can fit, is you get a cute little blue star right next to your name. And 'tis the season and month for lots of blue stars. So if we are new to each other, or it's been some time since we've seen each other, my name is Anisha. And we're lucky each week to have Marcy here with us who's assisting. So the way that class will look is I'll be practicing from the mat so that y'all and folks at home can have a visual, and Marcy will be walking around. If you have any questions or need any clarifications for things pose-wise, yoga-related, do feel free to call her over because it's a true treat to have multiple teachers in the room to help you out. So use her for all the yogic-related things you can need. Or parenting tips. Don't ask me for that, but you can ask her for that. Hi, Sally. Come on in. All right. So I said this in yesterday's class, but every year in January, I often teach one pose for the entire month. And from last year until this year, no one has come up to me before or after class and told me not to do it. So for all of January, we'll be working on full splits. And I brought the comic book, which is named after the pose itself. Yes, it's full splits, but it's named after one of the great lords of yoga. The beauty of these poses that we do in practice is, yes, they're poses that extend ourselves, that stretch ourselves, that create length within our bodies. But each one of the poses has a great mythological story that they're associated with that becomes even more greater than life itself. So for most of them, some of you know this, my parents always wanted me to learn what the mythology was, but they were working, didn't have time, and the gift of comics is that the grocery store on 42nd and Market in the early 90s used to sell these in the store itself. But for each one of the mythological stories, there was a comic book that was associated with it. And who knew, many, many years later, I'd be bringing them in as show and tell for yoga practice. So the circle has really come fully around. But the pose that we're moving towards all month long. Today we're going to do it on the floor. Next week we'll do it upside down. We'll take it in different orientations to gravity. It is by a common name known as full splits, but the Sanskrit name is Hanumanasana, and it's named after one of the great lords of yoga, Lord Hanuman, who has the body, he has the face of a monkey, the body of a human, and a long, long tail that helps him fly from place to place. And he is the son of the king of the wind, Vayu. All of the elements in the yogic tradition have a god or goddess that they're associated with. There's the god of fire, the god of the wind, the god of the sun, and they all control and regulate how the world moves around us. So Hanuman is the son of the god of the wind, and he's given the gift to be able to leap, to quote unquote fly, from one known region to another. So he never knows where he's going to land, but he always continues to take this leap of faith. So as we move into this pose today, I have a story to tell you about him that's in the comic book, but big in the hamstrings, big in the hips, lots of work in the upper body, we'll get to it, but the idea is that the metaphor of this pose is to find and know that you'll always start in known territory, but you'll end up in places that you don't necessarily expect. You might not know the ground that you're going to land on, but that doesn't mean that you don't continue to take the leap and see which direction you start to move towards. So we'll see. The story today is when a brother gets poisoned and he has to go find the antidote on a mountain, and he can't find it because people are trying to defeat him. But I'll tell you that when it's time to distract you, when we're in the pose itself. So let's start today lying on our backs, if you wouldn't mind. If you're already on your back, could you have your heads up towards the front of your mat and feet to the wall behind you? Have your block within a grabbable distance, just so you can grab it without having to sit up or down. And as you come to lay fully on your back, you can be in any way that you like. You might have your arms and legs long, more in that Shavasana shape. If you're experiencing anything in your hips or in your low back, you might have your knees bent, feet on the floor as wide as your mat, and knock your knees into each other so that the weight of your legs can support the other. Let your hands fall anywhere they fall, on your body or alongside of you. But as you let your eyes soften or close completely, can you begin to listen for your breath? When we close our eyes, it gives us a moment to see ourselves more clearly than before. The infinite versions of you that have existed. There's the you that you were before you walked into class. The you that you are here and now against the earth. And the you that you are continuing to make space to become into. So as you feel yourself get heavier into the ground beneath, can you continue to listen for the sound of your breath? Let each inhale move from your nose, down into your belly, and up into your heart. You're welcome. And every exhale offers itself up and out through every fiber of your being. Continue with a few more of those breaths just on your own. Each breath moves in, down, and wide. And each exhale pours itself up, out, and through you in every direction. This practice, it's first and foremost an offering to that breath. So regardless of how the body is moving, how it's staying still, it's to that breath that connects us, that surrounds us, and informs every single thing that we do. We'll start our practice and our time together with 3 more rounds of that same breath. So wait for your next inhale as it fills you up completely. And exhale to offer all of that breath out. 2 more times on your own. At the bottom of your breath, pause for a moment. Take notice of any difference that comes when you listen for and really remember your breath. And now keeping that attention as best as you can, gently blink your eyes open if they're not already, and bend your knees as you bring both feet flat onto the earth. Give your right leg a hug in towards your belly or in towards your chest, and start with some small circles in that right foot or ankle. You might even spread the toes and point the toes and see what it feels like to be off of your feet for a moment. Take a long breath in and a steadier breath out. Now the next time your right ankle comes back through center, interlace your hands behind your right thigh, or you can find your strap and bring it behind the leg. But as you flex the right foot, press the thigh into your palms, begin to straighten your right heel up towards the ceiling. Notice what you feel in the back of the leg. Instead of pulling the thigh closer towards your belly, can you feel the weight of your right leg into your hands? Press the thigh away from you, feel your arms grow longer. But shrug your shoulders to the ears and snuggle the shoulder blades together and let your upper back soften to the earth. Take a big breath in. Stay for your exhale. Even point the right toes to the sky and feel more of the shin in front of your ankle. Now bend your right knee, straighten your left leg long out in front of you. And for a twist, let your left hand hold your outer right thigh and move that right leg up and over to the left hand side. I like to bring blocks underneath that right thigh so the floor really comes high up to meet me. Less about how deep of a twist can you be in, but how much can both of your shoulder blades and your upper back really settle onto the ground. Take a moment to listen for your breath. A breath moves in and down. And as you exhale, can you feel your belly button move from left to right so the whole right side of your body gets heavier to the earth? Now on your next inhalation, draw the right leg back through center, lower the right foot back to the floor, and give the left leg a hug in towards your belly or chest. Start with those circles in the foot or ankle. We'll be spending a lot of time on the feet today, so just see what it feels like to be off of them for a moment. See if you can spread the toes as wide as you can, point the toes. Take a big breath in and a steadier breath out. Now as you interlace your hands behind that left thigh, take that awkward thumb or pinky on top, press your thigh into your palms and begin to straighten your left heel up towards the ceiling. See what you feel in the back of the leg. The heavier your left leg can get into those arms, the arms might grow longer, the shoulder blades might pop up off the earth, but can you shrug your shoulders to the ears, snuggle the shoulder blades together, and let the back of your head get heavier to the ground itself. A big breath in. Stay for your exhale. Even point the left toes to the sky. Feel the ankle, the front of your shin, the more front of the leg. Now bend your left knee if it's not already. Straighten your right leg long out in front of you. And as your right hand holds your outer left thigh, move that left leg up and over to the right hand side. A twist on side two. Or you can come here too, Elena. There's a spot right here if you want to come. Remember, blocks underneath that thigh is needed. Let the left shoulder blade and the back of your head get as heavy as it can be on the ground. As you take a deeper breath in and a longer breath out through every direction of you. Now on your next inhalation, draw the left leg back up through center. Give both legs a hug and a squeeze in towards your belly or chest. Make some circles or lean ever so slightly from side to side. But the next place we'll meet is we'll all come to tabletop facing the front of your mat. So however you'd like to come off of your back, you might roll over onto one side or forward and back. But make your way to all fours facing the front of the room. Have your blocks framing out the front of your mat. You might use them as we start to move about. But as you make your way to table, spread your fingers, tuck all 10 toes under behind you, and start to round and arch your spine, moving with your breath. Let's take a few rounds of cat and cow, linking breath and movement together. 4 or 5 cycles on your own. If it feels good to stay more rounded or arched for a few extra breaths, please feel free to do so. Maybe a few breaths moving forward and back, your hips towards your heels, your shoulders forward of the wrists. But take this time to see what it feels like. You're not just moving your body independently, but how your breath and your body can start to harmonize together. When you find your next exhale, come back to table. Find your neutral spine. Walk your hands forward of your shoulders. Bring your knees back behind your hips. And with your toes tucked under, we'll meet in downward facing dog. Take as much time, take all the breaths you need to find your way there. In this first down dog of class, and really any of them throughout, take what you need. Maybe it's stillness. Maybe it's gently pedaling your heels from one side to the other as you lift your hips to the sky. But let it all be an offering to your breath. A deeper breath in and a longer breath out. Now at the bottom of your breath, lift your heels high, soften your knees, look forward, and 1 foot at a time, walk your feet up towards your hands to come into your forward fold. Those blocks might be right there, so your hands can come onto blocks so the floor meets you where you are. You might widen your feet an inch or two, or even soften your knees to let your low back and your hips get some extra space. But take a breath to bow in towards yourself, a longer breath in, and a steadier breath out as you fold toward your own heart. On your next inhale, stand through your legs, bring your hands to your hips, and big inhale to come all the way up to rise as you release your hands. With your feet right underneath you, wait for the inhale to reach the arms forward and up. And on your exhale, soften your knees to fold over your legs. Inhale brings you halfway up to lengthen, hands to shins or blocks as you grow longer through your spine. And exhale to step it back to plank pose, the top of your push-up. Your knees can be down or up, but feel your legs back in space. And without moving them, energetically hug your legs towards each other as if they could become one pillar. Now hug your palms towards each other. Feel your forearms engage as you slide your heart forward. A big breath in. And on your exhale, bend your elbows to lower all the way down to your belly. Inhale to rise for cobra or baby cobra as you lift up through the heart. And on your exhale, take it back to downward facing dog, tabletop, or puppy pose for 3 slow, steady breaths. Oftentimes when I teach mythology in class, the question becomes, what's the point? How does this relate to my life in the 21st century? There's a god with the face of a monkey, body of a human, who's flying in full splits to save those around him. But the idea is you hear these mythological stories from different points in your life, from different points even in the room, and every character in the story is a version and a facet of you. The qualities of Hanuman, the brave, the courageous, the devotional, they all exist within your own body and being. So as you listen for your breath, take another steady breath in, let it fill you up, and exhale to pour that breath out, heartfelt in every direction. Lift the heels high, soften your knees, peek forward, and come forward to the top of your mat, your standing forward fold. Inhale brings you halfway up to lengthen, and on your exhale, fold, bowing in towards yourself. Take a breath in to rise, stand through your legs, reach up, get a drop taller, and exhale to let the hands come down by your sides. Let's do that one more time. Follow your breath more than my voice. Inhale, the arms go up, Urdhva Hastasana. On your exhale, fold, Uttanasana. Inhale to lengthen halfway, Ardha Uttanasana, grow longer. And exhale to step it back to plank pose. Hug the arms together, hug the legs together. Take a full breath in, and exhale to lower, Chaturanga Dandasana. Wait for the breath in to rise, Bhujangasana, cobra, hug the shoulder blades towards each other. And on your exhale, downward facing dog, table, puppy, 3 more breaths. Take a longer breath in through the nose, let it fill your heart and your belly. And as you exhale, push those palms down and forward to lift your hips up and back to the wall behind you. At the bottom of your breath, lift the heels high, soften your knees, and then walk, hop, leap your feet towards your hands to come into your forward fold. Inhale comes up halfway to lengthen, grow longer through the heart. And exhale to fold, bowing in towards yourself. Use your own fists to measure your feet 1 or 2 fist width apart. And with your toes pointing ahead, bend your knees, climb your palms up onto your thighs as you sit your hips back, chair pose. Think tush to the back of your mat. And as your hands press into the legs, lift up through the heart. Stay here for more steadiness in the low back. If you want to add some heat to the upper body, reach your arms overhead. But offer it to your breath. Take a deep breath in, down, and wide. Stay for your exhale. Think hips lower to the ground as you lift your heart up to the sky. Take one more breath. Fill the belly, fill the back of your lungs. Stay for the exhale, lift the heart up. And now inhale to stand through your legs, reach up, touch the sky. And exhale to fold, bowing in. Keep your right foot forward, step your left foot all the way back to catch your lunge. And now bring your hands high up onto fingertips or blocks on either side of that right foot. With your right knee and toes pointing ahead, keep your left hand down and reach your right fingertips forward towards the front of the room. Can you stretch one more inch through the right fingertips, but try to resist as you tack the right hip back towards the back of your mat. Take a big breath in, and on your exhale, we twist open to the right, reach the right arm to the sky. Let's do that twice more. Reach the right arm back, and then forward. Take a breath in. Every exhale, revolve, open to the right. Now the third time you twist open, pause and stay there for a breath. Lift that left thigh higher up off the earth. Wrap your right hip back towards the back of your mat, and then lean back against the steadiness you've created. Take a big breath in. Stay for the exhale. Bend one more inch into that front thigh. And then inhale to unwind. Lower the right hand. Take a step forward. All the hops you need. Left foot to meet the right. Inhale to lengthen halfway. Grow longer. And exhale to fold, bowing in. One more time with your feet 1 or 2 fist widths apart. Bend your knees, sit your hips back, Utkatasana. Chair pose, maybe hands to thighs, hands to hips, or arms up overhead. But really listen for the breath. Take a deep breath in and down. As you exhale, think hips heavier to the earth as you lift your heart up to the sky. Now can you slide those bottom ribs back? Really breathe into the middle of your back. Slide the ears back to lift your chin. And if your arms are up overhead, maybe bring your arms back in line with your ears as you sit 1 inch lower to the ground. Big inhale to rise, stand through the legs, grow taller. And exhale to fold, bowing in. Keep your left foot forward. Step your right foot back to catch your lunge. The higher up you are on fingertips or blocks, just the more space your torso has to move around. But with your right hand down, reach the left arm forward. Imagine someone's trying to tug your left fingertips, but you're resisting as you wrap your left hip back. Take a big breath in, and exhale, we twist open to the left, a big circle. Do that twice more. Sweep the left arm back and then forward. Every inhale, bow in. Every exhale, revolve. And now the third time you twist open to the left. Pause for a few breaths here. That back thigh, can you lift your right thigh higher? Wrap your front left hip back, and now slide both shoulders back and ears back to lean back against yourself. Take a deeper breath in. Stay for the exhale as you bend into that front thigh. And now inhale to unwind, lower the hands, step it back to downward facing dog, and notice what you feel, how it feels, and where you feel it. On your next inhale, take your time, come forward to plank pose, the top of your push-up. Exhale to lower, Chaturanga Dandasana. Wait for the breath in to rise, Cobra Bhujangasana. And on your exhale, we meet in downward facing dog, hips to the sky. From your down dog, wait for the breath. Inhale floats the right leg up and back. Step it through or around to catch your lunge. And on your next breath in, come on up to rise for high lunge. Reach the arms, the chest, and the torso to the sky. Nice. Heel toe the right foot an inch or 2 over to the right so you're less on a tightrope. And now again, it's that back leg that'll let you find steadiness. Lift the back heel higher, lift the back thigh higher. And as you wrap your left hip forward, tack back through the right hip. Now stay here. Your right hand can come to your right hip or right hand can grab the left wrist. But as you grow 1 inch taller through the left fingers, tip up and over to the right for standing crescent. Take a breath here into the left side of your waist. Wrap your left hip forward, tack the right hip back, and slide the ears back as you tip over to the right hand side. Inhale to come all the way back up, reach the arms to the sky, tap the floor, downward facing dog. Pedal the heels, see what you feel. Couple more times together, follow your breath more than my voice. On your inhale, plank pose. As you exhale, take the whole breath to lower, Chaturanga Dandasana. Wait for the breath in to rise, Bhujangasana. And on your exhale, there's no rush. Take it back to downward facing dog. From your down dog, float the left leg up and back. Step it through or around, or use your helping hand to catch your lunge. And on your next breath in, come on up to rise for high lunge on the second side. The more you walk the left foot to the left, the less you are on a balance beam, and it'll steady the ground beneath you. But the steadiness from this pose is going to come from the leg you can't see, the back one. So as you lift through the back heel, lift through the right thigh, wrap your right hip forward and the left hip back. Now left hand to your hip, or let your left hand grab your right wrist. Grow 1 inch taller through the right fingertips, and then tip up and over to the left, slow and steady. As you keep wrapping that right hip forward, slide the ribs back, the ears back. As you tip up and over to the left-hand side, take 1 more breath in. Stay for the exhale, maybe bend into that front left thigh. And then inhale to come up through center, bring your hands to the ground, take it back to downward facing dog. Pedal the heels, notice what you feel. And now we'll meet on our bellies. You can lower your knees to the floor and slither onto your belly. You can come through plank pose to lower down, but come all the way to the earth as you reach your arms alongside of you and flip your palms down to face the ground. We'll lift up to locust pose in a moment, but before we do, feel your legs back in space. Without letting them touch, they can touch, but can you energetically hug your inner thighs towards each other like you did in that first? Their blades together. Now on your inhale, lift your head. Your arms up off the earth, and exhale to let the legs lift up and away from the ground. Close or soften your eyes and really listen for the sound of your breath as you take flight. With each inhale, think inner thighs towards each other, inseams of your pants towards the ceiling. Now hug the shoulder blades together. Lift your palms 1 more inch. Take a big breath in. And on your exhale, release, lower down. You can make a pillow with your hands, rest on your forehead, on your cheek, but close your eyes for a moment and really listen for the sound of your own breath. Hanuman, the son of the god of the wind, Vayu, the one who controlled how the winds moved throughout the universes. And he exists here within us through the sound of your breath. So as you listen for the current of your breath in, notice where it travels to. See how your body responds. And with each exhale, offer the breath out in every direction of your being. Okay, after a few breaths, bring your hands to either side of your chest. Press yourself up through to tabletop. Sit back onto your heels, sip some water, take a breath or two. Are we getting warmer? I see sweatshirts slowly coming off. The fans can be on. As soon as one person says fans, I'll turn them on. But I want to keep it a little toasty just to get the, fans. We're going to keep it a little warm to get into the hips and thighs. Thanks, Marcy. All right, so from tabletop, I'm going to have a blanket underneath my knees. We'll spend a couple moments on the knees itself. And I like to have blocks close by. But however you are, make your way to all fours somewhere in the middle of your mat. And now from table, step your right foot to the outside of your right hand to come into that lizard lunge variation. We're going to take a thigh stretch first. So once your hands are on the inside of your right foot, feel that back knee in space and see that it's behind your left hip. Now hug your legs together. Hug the right heel back and the left knee forward. Bend your left knee to lift the left toes up off the floor. Stay here breathing. Or your right hand can stay down as your left hand reaches around for the left foot. Same foot, same hand. Think butt back towards that left heel. Marcy, you mind lowering them just a little bit? Ribs back. And now shrug the left shoulder up and back to lift up through the chest. You can stay here with your right hand on support. Or to play with some balance, you might bring your right palm up onto your right thigh. Right hand might even come to your chest. It might even wrap around to hold on to the left foot. But listen for your breath. Take a big breath in, down, and wide. Stay for the exhale. Can you look away from the ground? See where you're going as you bend 1 more inch into that front thigh. Now on your next breath, release the hold of that leg. Plant your palms and take it back to tabletop. Find your way to your hands and your knees. From table, not quite a thigh stretch yet, but let's do the other leg. Left foot to the outside of your left hand for that lizard lunge. We're going to take this into half split. So backing our way in, walk your right knee back. Bring your hands and blocks all the way back with you. Walk your back knee back and walk your hands back. And now instead of simply locking the left knee out, picture like you had a very long tail someone's tugging you from. Send your hips back to lengthen through the left leg as you flex the left toes. Some people like to have the hands on the inside of the leg for more steadiness in the belly. For steadiness of balance, maybe hands frame out that left leg. But flex your left pinky toes back, hug the left heel back, hug the right hip forward, and now push down into your blocks to lift up through the chest. Stay here breathing. Or as you take a breath in to grow longer through your spine, you might soften your elbows and bow in towards that front leg for half split, Ardha Hanumanasana. Take another long breath in, let it fill you up. Stay for your exhale. Can you release the clench of your fingers around the block, around each other, and soften your jaw? Good. On your next inhale, if you've folded forward, push into the earth to lift your chest. Now bend your left knee, plant your palms on the ground, and take it back to tabletop, hands and knees. That was a lot on one leg, so a few breaths or two in cat and cow or in stillness, just to link breath and movement back together once again. And now as you find your way back to all fours, tabletop, other side, left foot to the outside of your left hand. We start with the thigh stretch. With your hands on blocks or fingertips on the inside of your left foot, give the legs a squeeze. So you're trying to hug the left heel back and the right knee and thigh forward. Bend your back knee, lift your right toes up. Stay here with your hands on blocks. Or for same foot, same hand, your left hand stays down as your right hand reaches around for the right toes. Now think butt back towards the heel. They don't have to touch or be anywhere near, but send the top of your right thigh back. Now shrug the right shoulder up and back as you look away from the floor. Stay here and breathe. Play with your balance, maybe left palm to the thigh or to your chest, or even towards that right foot. But look away from the floor. See where you're going. Take a long breath in, down, and wide. Stay for the exhale. Can you lift your heart? And maybe let that left thigh get heavier to the earth. Now on your next inhale, release the hold of the foot. Nice. Plant your palms. Take it back to tabletop. And now last side, Ardha Hanumanasana. Right foot to the outside of your right hand for that lizard lunge. Slow and steady. Walk your left knee back. Bring your hands and blocks all the way back with you. Walk your back knee back and bring your hands back. Now picture a long, long tail. Next week's story is how his tail got caught on fire and he lit buildings on fire. That's a spoiler alert for next week. But picture your tail is not on fire and you're tugging it back to lengthen through that right thigh. Peel the right pinky side edge of your foot back. And it's a small action where you're dragging the right heel back, the left hip and thigh forward. And as you push into the blocks, grow longer through the spine. Stay here breathing. Or you might start to hinge from your hips as you bow in toward yourself. With every inhale, can you hug in towards center, meaning the left heel pulls back, the right hip wraps forward, and you fold in towards your heart. All right, next inhale, push down into the earth. Lift your chest up, bend your right knee, and take it back to tabletop. A few breaths here, and when you're steady, we'll meet in downward facing dog. Lift your hips up and back to the wall behind you. Whew. Different legs, or same legs, just different sensation. Pedal the heels, notice what you feel. From your down dog, float the right leg to the sky. Step it through or around to catch your lunge. Spin your back heel to the floor. And on your inhale, rise for warrior two, facing the long edge of your mat, just for a breath. Let the right knee and toes point straight ahead to the front of the room. As you look away from the ground, reach out through the arms. Take a big breath in. Stay for the exhale and bend 1 more inch into that front thigh. Now add the arms. Inhale to reach just the arms to the sky. Bend your right elbow, give yourself a pat on the back, and let the left fingertips grab onto the elbow. Can you lift the elbow to the ceiling? Gently press your head back to lift your chin, but then slide the ribs back to steady the middle of your back. A big breath in. Stay for the exhale, bend 1 more inch into the right thigh as you lift the right elbow to the sky. Now inhale to release the arms out to a T. Press the right leg straight and turn your right toes to face the long edge of your mat. We'll take a shoulder stretch. You can either interlace your hands at your low back, or I like to hold a strap, giving my chest and shoulders lots of space. But with your elbows bent, hug your shoulder blades together. Take a big breath in, lift your heart up. And now watch for the butts in front of you. You might lean to the side, but hinge at your hips, fold, and reach your arms overhead towards the sky. Once you fold and the arms reach up, tiny bend in your knees, tiny bend in your elbows that you might not see, but you can feel. And now try and tug your strap apart, create some resistance to bring the shoulder blades closer together on the upper back. A big breath in. Stay for the exhale as you bow in toward yourself. And now inhale to release the hands back to your tush. Ditch the strap if you have it. Bring your fingertips to the floor. And now inhale to come up halfway to lengthen. Grow longer through your spine. For this inner thigh opener, Skandasana, look at your back left foot. Turn your left toes to face the back corner of your mat. And now bend your left knee, send your hips towards your left heel, and notice what you feel in the right inner thigh. Try to keep your left heel down on the ground as you come up onto fingertips and lift your chest. Some people like to be here, some like to turn the right knee and toes to the sky. The heavier your hips get, the lighter the hands might feel. Maybe they stay on the ground, maybe they come to your heart. But take a big breath in. Stay for the exhale, lift your heart up as you broaden through the chest. Good, now plant your hands down onto the ground. Push through the left foot to straighten your leg. Turn your right knee and toes to and take it back to downward facing dog, hips to the sky. Pedal the heels and notice what you feel and see. Last side, float the left leg up and back. Step it through, around to catch the lunge. Spin your back heel to the floor, and on your inhale, rise. Virabhadrasana 2 on the second side. Take a breath to feel both feet on the ground, to reach out through the arms and look away from the earth. As you take a long breath in, stay for the exhale, bend into that left thigh as you grow taller through the crown of your head. Now we add those arms. Inhale, the arms reach up. Bend your left elbow, give yourself a pat on the back. And let the right fingertips hold on. Can you grow your elbow taller to the ceiling and gently press your head back to lift your chin so there's space for breath to come through. The ribs go back as you press your head back. A big breath in. Stay for one more exhale. Bend into the left thigh. Guide the left knee open as you lift your left elbow to the sky. And now inhale to release the arms to a T. Push the left leg straight. Turn your left toes to face the long edge. And one more time with the shoulder stretch. Either interlace that awkward thumb or pinky on top or find your strap. But hug the shoulder blades together. Take a breath in to lift your heart up. And you got it. As you exhale, fold, bow over your legs, reach your arms up overhead to the sky. Can you feel for gravity? Meaning let the top of your head get heavy. Let your shoulders, the weight of your upper back, drop towards your ears. And now gently, to create resistance, try to tug your fingers or strap apart and bring the shoulder blades closer together on the upper back. Take a big breath in. Stay for one more exhale. Maybe the arms reach to the sky or overhead towards the long edge of your mat. And then hands come back down to your tush. Bring your fingertips to the floor and inhale to come up halfway, Skandasana. Turn the right knee and toes to face the back top right corner of your mat. And as you keep your right heel down, bend your right knee, move your hips towards that right heel, and push into the floor to lift your heart up to the sky. Good, take a breath here. There's so much to be done. With the right heel down, lift up through the heart, or maybe the left knee and toes turn up to the sky. Maybe the hips get heavy, that the hands get light as you take a big breath in. Stay for the exhale. Can you guide your right knee open towards those right pinky toes? And now on your next inhale, push into that right foot, straighten the leg, turn the left knee and toes to catch your lunge. We meet again in downward facing dog. Skandasana. I always forget about that one, the inner thighs. It's named after the Lord Skanda, the god of war, which sometimes feels appropriate because the inner thighs are just uncharted territory. So lower your knees to the floor, sit back onto your heels, sip some water, take a breath, shake out anything you need to shake out. Yeah? Made it? So we're going to check out Hanumanasana. We've done a lot of the prep poses for it, done it in different orientations to gravity, and now we'll see. We'll just do it once on the right, once on the left, and move on, because we got a whole month of exploring this pose. So I don't want to, I said this in yesterday's class, but I'm like, I know some of us are new to each other. I'm telling you now we're doing full splits for the whole month. I take zero offense if it's not your game. There's a phenomenal lineup of teachers before me, of teachers teaching after and the next day. So if I see you in February, I fully understand. But full splits is where we're moving towards. So we've done a version of it already. I'm going to show it to you first, and then you get to decide which direction you want to move in. We work towards that version of Ardha Hanumanasana, half split, where your hands are either on the inside or outside the foot, and you lengthen. The idea is, I don't want you to feel it necessarily behind the knee or up near the tush. And a way to alleviate that is what tends to happen when my left leg is forward. The hips want to open up to the side of the mat, and you might get lower. And this is a version. If anyone has seen, Adriana has an incredible internet presence, and she has this picture that I have never not thought about of her as a cheerleader when she's 11 doing full splits, and she's on the ground like this. And I'm like, oh, honey, I'm so happy you found yoga practice, because I don't know how sustainable it can become. Anyway, the point is, for this version of the pose, we're not looking to open our hips up in towards the long edge of the mat. We're hoping to keep them square towards the front of your mat. So the way that you might find some access into it is you walk the back knee back, and then your hands come back with you. You walk the knee back and bring your hands back. And then it's these actions, small but mighty, of really hugging everything into center. You're trying to pull the left heel back and the right hip forward, and into that, the knee might walk back. Every inhale, the legs are hugging in. Heel back, knee forward, and into that, the knee walks back. The blocks are going to be a great tool for you to help to stay upright. Or the more you hug your knees in towards each other, hug your heels in towards each other, you might come lighter up on blocks. Your hands might come to your hips. The hands might reach up overhead. But that only happens, the hands only get light, because I am quite literally, you see the ripple in the mat? I am pulling into the center to lift myself up. I haven't found a graceful way to come out of it yet, but however you come out of it, that's just as important. But the story of Hanuman, the pose itself, is one of the people in his cohort gets poisoned, and he has to go find the antidote. And it's thought to find the antidote, it'll take 18 years to find it. And by that time, the guy is going to die. And so he says, I'm going to do it. I can do it. But he doesn't know where the antidote is, where he has to leap to. He's never been there. He's never seen it before. But what he does is he starts in one place where the brother is, takes a full leap across an entire continent, and lands on the foothill of the mountain where the antidote is. A lot of other things happen. He can't find it. People try to destroy him. I'm giving you the Cliff Notes version. He lifts the entire mountain itself in one hand and then takes the other leap, brings the mountain to where Lakshman, the poisoned brother, is so that he can be saved. But it doesn't end there because he has to take the mountain back. So he does another leap to return the mountain and then leaps back. So the span of 18 years, 4 big jumps. And the idea is the pose is full splits, but he starts off in known territory, not knowing where he's going to end up. He doesn't know where his final destination is, but that doesn't prevent him from continuing to take the leap. Yeah? I always like to think of that in January, where I'm like, who knows what the year is going to be? But I'm going to keep going, because there's no other way to exist. Leap to leap to leap. So we'll start it off. That was me distracting you from getting into full splits. But we're going to do it now. Yes?
So you're
always.
Tension, even though it looks like you're going the other way,
You're
not. It's an illusion.
It's an illusion. It is an illusion. Yes. Every inhale you're hugging in. Let's try it. There's so many bus stops of where to explore. There's no obligation to extend all the way out. You'll get sensation in any version that you're in. The point is to feel length in the hamstring and getting tall through the spine. That's what we seek. So find your way to tabletop with your blocks underneath you. They will be a great tool. And now from tabletop, step your right foot to the outside of your right hand for lizard lunge. Let's back our way into it. So with your left toes tucked under, walk your left back knee back and bring your hands and blocks all the way back with you. Walk your left knee back and bring your hands back. And now imagine that long, long tail. Someone's tugging you. Send your hips back to lengthen through the right leg. Now this is personal preference. You might keep your hands on the inside of your right foot to give your hips and legs more room. You might bring your right hand to the outside of the right foot. But to Justin's point, hug them in. Hug the right heel back. Hug the left thigh forward. Push into the blocks and lift your heart. Stay here. Breathe. Look away from the earth. See where you're going. Or there might be a little more room to walk the left knee back. Bring your hands all the way back with you. Walk the back knee back. Bring your hands back. And now same action. Hug the right heel back. The left thigh forward. Push into the blocks. Lift your heart. Maybe you're here. One more time. Walk the back knee back. Bring your hands back and lift your heart up. As you hug the right heel back, the left hip and thigh forward, look away from the floor. Maybe your hands stay glued on those blocks. They come lighter on fingertips. Maybe it's a moment to play, hands to your hips. Maybe arms up overhead as you hug the right heel back, the left hip and thigh forward, and breathe. Okay, to come out, push into the blocks. I like to drag the right heel back, come to tabletop, somewhere at the back of your mat. If you have a graceful way of coming out of it, you can come out of it that way. And then a little crawl to come back forward to the top. Any questions? Yay! Yes! Front knee has a tiny bend, especially if I know that my knees hyperextend so they can go beyond straight. So it might feel like a big bend, but definitely bent. And my back knee's on the floor to help give them a hug. Great question. Next week, we're going to take them off the floor. Anyone else? Second side, last side. And then we lie down. So come to tabletop. Hands and knees. Left foot to the outside of your left hand. And now as you walk your right knee back, bring your blocks and hands back with you. Walk the knee back, bring your hands back. Walk the knee back, bring your hands back, and now long, long tail. Someone's giving your hips back. Lengthen. That's it. Now push into the blocks. See if you can look away from the ground. See where you're going. Stay here and breathe. Or there might be a drop more room to walk the right knee back. Bring your hands back. Walk the knee back, hands back. Tuck these toes under. Yes. And now squeeze into me. Yes. As you walk the back knee back, bring your hands back. And now hug the left heel back, the right hip and thigh forward. Push into the blocks and look away from the ground. Stay here. The more you hug into center, the fingertips might just feel lighter on those blocks. You might play one hand to hip, the other hand to hip. Or the more you hug into center, hands to hips, maybe arms up overhead, but look away from the earth. Take a big breath in. Stay for the exhale. And now push down into the blocks to move the left leg back, the right thigh forward, tabletop, and then like a tiny little crab on stilts, walk your hands back to take it back to table. Nice. A breath or two here. Can lower your knees to the floor, a moment in child's pose. Feet together, knees wide, hips back towards your heels as your head gets heavy to the block or to the ground. Close your eyes and really listen for the sound of your breath. Can you feel your belly and up into your heart? And with every exhale, offer the breath out through every direction, every fiber of your being. And now on your next breath in, come all the way up to rise. Come to take a seat on your tush. Lower your butt to the floor and bring your legs out in front of you. Before we lie down fully, we'll take a few hip openers. So with your hands behind you, knees bent. For seated figure 4, cross your right ankle over your left thigh. Flex that right foot like it's standing on solid ground. And now push into your palms to lift your chest up towards that right shin. Stay here breathing. If you want to find any more space or sensation in that outer right hip, you might scoot your hip towards that left heel as you lift up through the heart. Stay here and breathe. Or one more variation for fire log pose. Walk the left bottom foot to the right and lower your left knee and shin down onto the earth. If you're in this version of Agni Stambhasana, let that right foot be over the left thigh. Flex through the right foot. Push into the floor to lift your heart up. Stay here, 3 deep breaths. Or you might start to hinge at your hips and fold over and across that front leg. Can you anchor your right butt cheek down towards the ground, wherever you are in figure 4, in your seated fire log pose? And with each breath in, lift up through the heart, grow longer through your spine. And every exhale, fold as you bow in towards your own self. Now on your next breath, if you folded forward, come all the way back upright. Everyone uncross your legs, lower both feet to the ground, and take a few windshield wipers as you drop your knees from side to side to clear space in the low back and hips. The next time you draw your knees back through center, second side, left ankle crosses over the right, flex the left foot. And hips are very different, so one side it might feel more supportive to stay here, closing your eyes and listening for the breath. The progression next is moving your hips towards that heel as you lift up through the heart, but a big breath in and a longer breath out. Agni Stambhasana, walk the right foot over to the left, lower your right thigh and shin to the ground. It's like your shins are 2 fire logs in a fireplace stacked on top of the other. But anchor that left butt cheek down to the ground. Push into the earth to lift your heart up. Stay here with your eyes soft as you breathe. Or if you want to explore folding forward over your legs, you can hinge from your hips. But 3 deep breaths. Send the breath in, down, and wide. With every exhale, soften the jaw, the fingertips on the blocks or on the floor as you bow in towards yourself. Take one more breath, fill your belly, fill up into the heart, and exhale to offer all of that breath out. If you folded forward on your inhale, come all the way up to a seat. Uncross your legs, lower your feet to the ground, and a few windshield wipers one more time to clear space in the hips and low back. Good. After a few rounds, bring both feet to the ground, knees bent, feet on the floor. For reverse table, bring your hands behind your tush and let your thumbs point towards the front of the room. Start by scooching your hips all the way forward towards your heels, and with your butt down, lift up through the chest. This is the sensation we're looking for, broadness through the collarbones. If you want to add more weight to the shoulders and wrists, you can push down through your feet to lift your hips up. You might look at your knees, or without cricking the neck, slide the sides of your throat back to look straight up to the sky. But push down and forward through your legs to lift your hips. Push your palms down and apart to lift your chin. Push your head into my hands. Good. Take a big breath in. Stay for the exhale. And then slowly lower your tush all the way back down to the ground. Do a little spin. Come to lie on your back so your head is up towards the front of the room. Your feet are facing the wall behind you. And as you come to lie onto your back with your head up towards me, feet to the back of the room, find your therapy balls, have them close by, and have one of your blocks close by as well. You might use it as we start to move about. But as you lay on your back with your knees bent, feet on the ground, find your block. We'll take a few rounds of breath in supported bridge. Elena, I'm going to ask if you can, just so your heads don't bonk. Do you mind flipping? So head is up here. I'm going to turn these lights off in a second. Yeah, I got you. As you come to lie onto your back, bend your knees, bring both feet onto the floor. Bend your elbows and point your fingertips up towards the ceiling. Shrug your shoulders to your ears, wiggle the shoulder blades towards each other, and now push down through your feet to lift your hips up off the earth. Wiggle the shoulder blades together to lift the back of your chest. And then slide that block to its lowest or second lowest height underneath your tush for supported bridge. As you come all the way down to lay on your back onto the block itself, wiggle the shoulder blades towards each other. Gently press the back of your head down into the earth to lift your chin, and listen for your breath. You can keep your hands here on either side of you. They might rest on your body. They might come alongside of you onto the earth. But take 3 deep, steady breaths. A deeper breath in and a longer breath out through every direction. Can you send that breath in, down, and wide? And every exhale, offer the breath out from front to back, side to side, and top to bottom. After a few breaths here on the block, push down into the floor, lift your hips up, slide the block out from underneath your tush, and lower the weight of your hips down onto the earth. Either windshield wiper your knees from side to side, or knock your knees into each other so the weight of your legs can support the other. Take a deeper breath in and a longer breath out. And now the next time your knees come back up through the middle, find your therapy balls. And we'll talk you through therapy balls in the upper back before we revisit one more round of backward bends. So feel free to keep them in their tote or take them out, but with a therapy ball in each hand, lift your head and shoulders up off of the ground. And from the top tips of your shoulder blades, bring the therapy balls in between your shoulder blades themselves. Again, there's no wrong spot or place for them to be. But once you find somewhere you can be curious about, that you can explore, your head can come down onto the ground, or you might bring your head up onto a block to alleviate some pressure. If you'd like to add more weight to the therapy balls, you might keep your head on the floor and bring your hips up onto a block at its lowest height. But wherever you are, bless you, head on the ground, head on a block, hips on the floor, or hips on a block. Can you listen for the sound of your breath? A deeper breath in and a longer breath out. Now you're more than welcome to stay right here for a few breaths. Or if you'd like to explore 2 more places in the upper back with your knees bent, feet on the ground, push through your legs just enough to roll your body towards your head until those therapy balls come down to the middle of your shoulder blades, slightly lower than where they just were. Once you find this new place, bring any blocks with you as needed. Let your arms fall anywhere they fall as you take a deep breath in and a longer breath out. You might keep your arms heavy, or for some gentle movement, the arms might reach slowly up towards the ceiling. And perhaps you move them almost like seaweed in water or gentle figure 8s. And can you move 10% slower than you are? As you slow and steady and offer it to your breath. Longer inhales in and full, clear exhales out. Now, if your arms are overhead, slowly release and lower them down by your sides. And for one more place, push through your feet with just enough effort to roll your body a few inches towards the top of your mat until those therapy balls come down to the bottom tips of your shoulder blades. Once you find this third new place, with any props underneath you, take a big breath in and a longer breath out. Again, the arms might stay heavy, or you might slowly reach your arms up to the ceiling and give yourself a hug as if those hands are reaching for therapy balls behind your back. But can your palms and fingers be soft as you either stay still or gently lean from one side to the other? If you have one arm wrapped on top, perhaps you switch which elbow is on top to see if that creates any difference. A deeper breath in and a longer breath out. Now unwrap your arms if they're wrapped around you. Clear any blocks from underneath your hips or behind your head. And to make the exit journey, scoot your hips towards your heels. Roll yourself to the back of your mat. So you feel those therapy balls come up your back. You can also roll over to one side to really push them fully out of the way. But however they exit, do let them fully come out as you drape your upper back onto the altar of the earth. Can you take a breath into what you don't necessarily see, but you can more than clearly feel? And as you listen for the full sound of your breath, take a deep breath in and a longer breath out. We'll make our way towards rest next. So give yourself a few moments to take anything it is that you need, any layers you'd like to add, any props you'd like to use to support yourself. If there's anything that you need to create even more steadiness, please feel free to call me or Marcy over, and we're more than happy to bring it over to you. But give yourself time to find as comfortable a way to be as physically possible. Maybe that's more in a side-lying Shavasana with a blanket or block between your thighs. Perhaps you have that rolled up blanket underneath your knees so your low back can really settle and clear to the earth. Or the blanket draped over and across you for steadiness and warmth into the floor beneath. But as you close or soften your eyes, begin to listen for your own breath. I'll talk you through a few rounds of pranayama that you're more than welcome to simply listen or follow along at your own pace. But for this equal part box breath called Samavriti, begin by taking a breath in through the nose to fill your belly and up into your heart. And exhale to let every drop of that breath go. Now with your lips closed, picture your next inhale in 4 separate counts. Breathe into your belly, your lungs, and then up into your heart. And exhale for those same 4 counts, emptying heart, lungs, and belly. Pause at the bottom as you begin again. Inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Adding a few pauses. Inhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold, 2, 1. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold, 2, 1. That's 1 round. Follow your pace more than my voice. Inhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold, 2, 1. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold, 2, 1. Inhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause, 2, 1. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold, 2, 1. 3 more rounds. Inhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold, 2, 1. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold, 2, 1. Inhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold, 2, 1. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold, 2, 1. Last round. Inhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold, 2, 1. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold, 2, 1. Without any holds or counts, Take a breath to fill your belly, your heart, up into your throat. And exhale to offer all of that breath out through every direction of you. Feel that slow, steady cadence of your breath, where each breath gently dissolves the practice that was. Each breath helps you arrive to where you are now. And each breath that comes after makes space for what has yet to come. So as you let every round of your breath, let your physical body get heavier into the earth. The heavier your body becomes, the more spacious and the lighter you may just start to feel. Begin to deepen your breath. Take a longer breath in and a sweeter breath out. Take another breath in, down and wide. And as you exhale, offer all of that breath out. Let the breath that you have begin to slowly awaken the body that you're in with any gentle movement that just feels sweet to you. You might roll your wrists or ankles in one or the other direction. Perhaps you tip your head from one side to the other, heavy against the ground. Or just watching for any props or neighbors around you. Perhaps you reach your arms away from your legs or draw your knees in towards your own chest. But when the time comes, we'll all meet with the knees bent, arms overhead, as you roll over to any side of your choice to curl into yourself. A breath or two here against the solidity of the earth. And as you push down into the ground, come up to rise to a tall seat, the very same way we started. With those eyes softly open or softly closed, can you once again listen for the sound of your breath? The breath that goes in and down so it fills you up. And exhale to offer the breath up and out in every direction. Our time together will finish with one more of those same breaths. You can place your hands to center anywhere that feels for you. As you take a deep breath in, to let it all go. You might bow your head to your hands or lift your hands towards your head in such a simple yet sweet gesture of self-reverence, bowing to your heart and the hearts of each other who practice right alongside with you. And Marcy and I bow to each and every one of you all. Thank you so very much for choosing to be here. Thank you. Thank you. For those that willingly knew you were going to do splits, thank you for coming. For those that didn't know, thank you for staying and being here. Drink water, take good care of yourselves and each other, stay warm. While you're setting up, there's so many activities and events happening outside of public classes. Eric is teaching a great restorative yoga workshop on Sunday the 26th. It's far, but it's so close. My beloved Adriana is starting her new pranayama practice group at the end of January. There's lots of workshops, guest teachers, fun things that are coming in. So if you have time, we'd love to see you. Anyone else have announcements? Any things that you're doing, you're seeing, you're going to, you want to share? Oh, you can do that. Yeah, thank you. No, nothing? Great. Conclave? Apparently. Anyone seen it? Yes? Worth seeing? Is it scary? Okay. That is my threshold. Me either. But worth seeing? Okay. Popes.
Don't say anything about it.
Okay, sorry. I'm like, Sharon, spoil everything for me. Oh, I'm the monster that Wikipedias things in the movie theater and before because I need to know everything that's going on. Yeah. Nothing.